get hot sometimes when I'm recording.
I get hot in the middle.
In the middle?
It's always a thing in performing.
So mid-show.
Mid-show, you take it off.
You take it off.
If that's where I'm at.
I run hot. I start hot.
I don't. I start cold.
You start cold?
All the time.
You're just freezing in the back of the room?
Usually my opener during winter sets is about how cold I am. I'll
really?
Start off talking about how cold I am.
Well, I was much heavier around this time last year because I was doing that weight gain challenge with Tony.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like literally back to being 30 pounds lighter than that again. And I've been getting, with this LA weather just being in the 50s, I'm like, it's so cold.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just because I don't have as much mass on my body anymore.
I'm cold all the time. I will put the heat on in my house to like 80 degrees. And then people will come over. Like if someone comes over unexpectedly, it's like embarrassing how warm I keep my house. Like I'm a dying old person.
Yeah, it's like an old woman's.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Sorry.
Oh, whoops. I must have left that on by accident.
Yeah, because it's kind of gross when you just walk into like a stoner's house and it's 90 degrees. And that's how I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm Middle Eastern, so I like the heat, I guess.
I mean, yeah, Moroccan, right?
Half Moroccan, yeah.
Let's see. I know what's up.
And I do 90-minute hot yoga.
Do you really?
Yeah, and it's hot. And
How long did it take you to build up to that? Because that's
It's always been 90 minutes.
I've been doing Bikram. Started the class and you're like,
yeah. I mean, it's hard. The first few times you do it, it takes a while, and I'm now at the point now where I'm not like I have to run out of the room. But yeah, I'd say the first year or two of me doing it, you have those thoughts, and the first couple times you do it, you're like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there water in the room?
Yeah, you can bring in water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But your heart starts racing because the positions in Bikram are designed to sort of cleanse you and have blood rush into things and blood rush out. So there are moments where you're just like, the instructor will be like, okay, right now you probably feel really dizzy, like you're dying, or right now you feel like you might throw up, or right now your heart's racing and you think you're having a heart attack. You're not. We're giving you a mini heart attack now so you don't have a big one later.
They really walk you through it like that?
Yeah, because like there's certain
people are freaking out mentally. They're like, "What's going on? What's going on?"
Yeah, they'll start talking you through whatever mental neuroses you're going through. Wow. Because it's like because sometimes the blood rushes to your head and then to your heart and then to your legs and then back and forth and then you're kind of upside down and so all of a sudden you've been upside down for a while and you've been in a room that's 107 degrees for 30 minutes. Then you come up again really fast. Like they can sometimes anticipate where you'll be at.
Everything's going to be fine.
I don't know. Is everything going to be okay?
Yeah. And then you're just like, let go of the thoughts. Let go.
Let go of the thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can.
It can be hard. It's the hardest, I think, when your heart is racing because it's like...
My heart feels like it's going to explode right now, Benji.
Would you try it with me?
I'll go.
I've done it with some people. I've done it with a lot of comics.
I've been trying to exercise more, and I actually enjoy yoga. I actually stretch every day.
I'd love to see you do this 90-minute one.
Well, dude, I'll die. I mean, I'll feel like I'm dying. But dude, I did the stairs for 30 minutes straight at the gym the other day, and I was just like, this is the worst thing ever.
I've gotten into a really good energy drink that's been helping me, and I've always seen those weird drinks at the gym that people drink, and I'm like, I'm not drinking that. But there's this new one. It's a newish called Celsius, and it's like green tea. It's like a more healthy Red Bull.
Benji, I'm scared to try it because I might like it because everything that you've introduced me to so far, I've fallen in love with.
Right.
Goat milk.
Yes.
I'm from Kansas. Never had goat milk before. And then I go over to my LA friend Benji's place, and he's like, you should try this.
Well, because you were fresh out of the Midwest, and we became friends, and I was like, I got to show you some stuff.
Yep. Lucifer's Pizza, another one.
Yeah, that's great.
One of my favorite spots in LA.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But that goat milk, the first time, it was like nectar from the gods. Because, I drink now I drink maybe 2%. I was on a whole milk kick for about, forever until recently. And now it tastes a little bit like almost like a milkshake whenever I drink whole milk.
Oh, really?
I've lowered my tolerance to it. So now whenever I drink whole milk, I'm like, oh, wow, this is thick.
What do you eat it with, cereal and stuff?
Yeah.
I don't eat cereal.
I don't eat cereal as much anymore.
You're so
I don't
big.
eat breakfast as much as I used to. Like where I'm eating a full-on breakfast.
Right.
I usually wait till later in the day.
That's what I do.
I'll do a banana or something in the morning.
I feel like people like you are so big, you burn so many calories that you can just eat a bunch of sugary cereal. Like someone like me, I'll just get fat. Real
You pooch
fast.
it up?
I will pooch out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You pooch up?
I'm known to pooch.
It's been pooch zone over at my place.
I walk away and everyone's like, Benji looks kind of poochy.
I don't know how to say this to Benji. He's looking a little poochy lately.
The other day, our mutual friend Willie Hunter was like, "Are you getting fat?" And I'm like, "I mean, I've gained a little weight, but it's a lot of muscle." He's like, "Don't get fat, Benji. You have your whole life ahead of you." And I'm just like, Jeez.
Willie will call you out like that.
Yeah,
he'll see that. I mean, that's why he doesn't care. Like when people like talk to him about like his bleached hair, because like, yeah, I know. Dude, you were actually Benji. I don't think I've I think I've mentioned this to some other people on this podcast, but you took me on one of my first road gigs, if not my first road gig, like out of Los Angeles.
Where did I take you?
To Lestat's.
Oh, cool.
Near San Diego.
Awesome.
Yeah. It
Awesome.
was you, Sandy Danto, and me in the car.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Lestat's is a great gig, and I feel like I also have a photo somewhere of me, Melissa Villasenor, and Rick Glassman and Adam Sajan, and I think I took them. So it's kind of funny where you're like,
Yeah.
because Mark Ellis took me, and then they're like, "You're great. Come back on your own any other time." And I was like, and I remembered, and this is when we were young. Like, I'm happy to do Lestat still, but I wouldn't be like as excited. But it's an exciting, cool spot. But when you're young, it's exciting because it's a longer spot. It's a great crowd. And so when Mark Ellis took me, I was like, it was so cool, like what you're describing.
Heck yeah.
And then they were immediately like, come back and bring people. And I was like, I get to give people what I just got, which is this cool thing.
Dude,
and
it's
then,
such a cool feeling.
so yeah, it was cool. Because the second you get any power in stand-up comedy, you're like, I want to help my friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it's one of those things you definitely feel like you need to pay it forward because other people around you have helped you or given you spots or opportunities when you kind of knew, like, you took it whenever it happened, but you're like, this could go either way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or especially in retrospect, you look back and you're like, I was not good, and they were helping me out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about my first gig I did on the road. Maybe it was my first tour with Bobby Lee, and I was not ready.
Yeah.
I was maybe 2 years in featuring.
Oh, wow.
I did not have the material. It was misery. I think I did okay. Like, I didn't do, like, terrible, but
Yeah.
I'm sure by my standards now it would be, bombing.
Did he give you notes after sets or anything like that?
No, I don't remember. Not really. I think he just knew that he was just sort of helping me out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But I remember there was one show at the San Jose Improv. It was like my second feature thing, and there were maybe like 4 shows, and I did good at one of them. And I remember coming off stage after that one good show. It was like maybe like the second night's first show, and I was just like so happy. And him and Nick Youssef looked at me like, "What are you?"
Yeah, what are you so happy about?
I was like, "I actually functioned as a comedian for 15 minutes."
I
or whatever
did it.
that I got.
I did my job tonight.
Yeah,
It's a different feeling.
that was a scary place to perform early on. San Jose Improv, big theater.
Yeah, that's actually one of the improvs that I have not done yet.
It's a big theater. So
I hear it's like an old school, like big theater.
yeah, and so not being that good at comedy yet, it was
Intimidating.
so intimidating.
Yeah, you're going up, you're like,
It's a
what
theater.
am I
yeah.
doing here?
Yeah. Speaking of goat milk, you ready for what's in here?
Yep.
Oat milk.
What is that?
It's milk made out of oats.
I figured, but I wanted you to explain it maybe a little bit more than that.
It's really popular now. There's 2 kinds. There's regular oat milk. There's low-fat oat milk. It's got a really creamy texture to it.
Okay.
If you're looking for a milk alternative, it kicks almond in the ass. Cashew, see you later. Soy milk, I don't think so. The number one animal-free whatever milk right now is oat. But goat milk is good too, but like where are you going to get goat milk, you know?
Wow. Dude, I think your health food, you know that health food that you go to on Wilshire?
Oh, Erewhon?
Yeah.
On Beverly, yeah.
Yeah. On Beverly, sorry. One of the cashiers is actually calling in from Erewhon right
okay.
now. Hey, is this Benji?
Yeah, hey, what's up?
Hey, dude, I wanted to call you. You're on the Super Savers program over here at Air One, so I wanted to give you an update before any of the other customers, bro.
You bet your behind I am. What's going on, dude?
Yeah, dude, we just got some grape milk in, dude.
Grape milk?
Yeah, we milk grapes now.
Isn't that grape juice?
No, it's way different.
So you're just extracting the part of the grape that's milky?
Yeah, exactly, dude. Just getting that grape nut just like in milk form, dude.
What would you compare it to in terms of like texture and taste?
Man, that's if you suck the good parts out of a milkshake, but like the non-tasteless part as well, it's kind of tastes like that.
Like a milkshake.
I guess if you want to call it that, yeah.
Well, thanks for the heads up. Can you maybe put some on hold? I'd love to try this new grape milk.
Yeah. We also got some great kombucha packs over here too.
Kombucha packs?
Yeah, you've never had a kombucha health pack before?
It sounds like a Rocketeer kind of thing. Is that like a...
No, not at all, man. It's actually a combo pack. It's got kombucha, and then there's also like a side of kale that it comes with, like in a those salad mixes that you like DIY.
Yeah.
You stir the kale in a bag, okay? You mix it with kombucha. You take it as a shot for breakfast, and you're set for like 3 weeks healthy, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
And
man.
then the rest of the few weeks I can just be drinking and smoking and eating dessert?
Absolutely. It combats that entirely.
I like that.
Yeah, it's the kombucha combat pack.
Okay, kombucha packs. That
Yeah.
sounds right. I kind of let kombucha go, to be honest.
Oh, dude, come back to us, bro.
It's just that in terms of healthy beverages, I feel like kombucha's sort of like 5 years ago. I will say this, though. You ready for
Dude,
this?
tell that to kombucha's face, dude. That's hard.
I'm pretty sure I'm the first person, maybe not the only, but definitely the first person to drink kombucha on stage at the Comedy Store during my set.
Dude, I can't tell you how proud that makes us over at Ear One.
Well,
It's got to
thank
be
you.
one of the coolest things that we've ever heard.
I have a lot of weird firsts because I eat and drink a lot of weird things. So in terms of comedy and beverages, I feel like I'm really on the forefront.
Well, if you get into NASCAR and you're interested in some sponsors, we definitely have some cool vegetables and stuff that we'd love to slap on the side of your car.
Okay, yeah, I don't think NASCAR's happening anytime soon.
Okay.
I can't see that well.
Oh, okay.
I don't really have a career in racing.
What's up with your eyes?
I got this. I'm cross-eyed.
All right. Well, I'll see you later, dude. Yeah, but make sure you come by and get one of those kombucha packs.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks,
And
dude.
grape milk for sure.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, it was nice of that employee to go out of his way to call into the show. Very
Well,
strange.
they really go out of their way there.
Yeah, they seem like the customer service is beyond there.
And there's so many like fancy uppity people there that I think they see through me and they're like, "Oh, he's in the nice one."
Yeah.
Because everyone there is just like on their phone and their Range Rover coming in, giving attitude. And I go in like kind of stoned, ready to be friendly, saying thank you, saying please. And then you get phone calls like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to talk about one of your birthday parties that you had. That
Oh,
was one
yeah.
of my favorite adult parties that I've ever been to. Benjie's, it was your grandma, right? It was at her place?
I was already 30 and my grandma said, "Did you have a birthday party when you turned 30?" And I said, "No, I actually turned 30, I think, in a parking lot in Virginia after performing at the Draft House with Natasha. And we were like eating burritos. And I'm like, I'm 30. It was just like, because I'm not a birthday person.
Yeah.
But my grandma loves throwing parties. So she says, "We're throwing you a party for your 31st birthday." And I was like, okay. And I'm like, I can invite whoever I want? She's like, yeah. And then so I was like, this is going to be crazy. It's going to be all like my old Republican Jew family mixed with all these like drunk comedians. who are
Low-life comedian
yeah,
friends,
and I was
yeah.
like, let's do it.
Such low status.
Yeah, it was such a funny mix. At one point, during the party, my sister walks up to me and she was like, "You did it. This is hilarious."
Dude, it was so good. We walk into your grandma's place, and it's a very nice house in like the Beverly Hills area. And I'm looking around, and it's all these like broke, starving comics that are like, "This is incredible." There's food everywhere. Your grandma, I don't know if you did or your grandma or who hired a live action Mickey and Minnie Mouse to walk around like it was Disneyland. And the masks that they had on their head looked like they were wire, like literally mesh helmets that were like legit from the 1950s.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. Everything he said is true. Firstly, my grandma, I'm going to tell a quick story just to describe the prowess my grandmother has for throwing parties.
Okay.
One time my sister is at their house and she's having like a breakfast get together and there's some people over. And my sister sees my grandma putting birthday candles in a birthday cake. And she's like, "Oh no." So she goes up to my grandma and she's like, "Hey, whose birthday is it? I had no idea." And my grandma goes, "No one's. Isn't that fun?" She's just putting candles in a cake. So when she gets the opportunity to throw me a party, she got her Mickey
about to get
and
turned.
Minnie Mouse. Yeah. And she was like, "I didn't want to tell you. I knew you'd say no."
So she just surprised you with that.
I had no idea that was coming. And at that point, I was pretty drunk.
Well, okay.
And then all of a sudden,
also,
Mickey and Minnie came out.
Mickey and Minnie coming out, like, it was kind of terrifying.
It was terrifying because
it was human bodies. But the only thing that was cartoonish were like these mesh 1950s helmets that looked like literally like bird wire, and art was like manufactured by like handmade kind of thing.
She got it like probably in the Santee Alley in the 70s. The Santee Alley is sort of like LA's version of Canal Street. And if you don't know what the Santee Alley or Canal Street is, it's basically Canal Street's in New York, Santee Alley's in LA. It's basically a street where you can buy like counterfeit purses and socks for $2, and they're kind of dying out because like H&M and stuff.
So she owned that stuff?
They used that. They my grandparents have property in the Santee Alley, which is like, it literally looks like an alley in like Mexico or something, because it's just like people screaming and selling stuff. It's like wild. But in like the 70s and 80s, that was their livelihood. And so they would do things to like revitalize the Santee Alley or make it a fun place to be. So on weekends, people dress up like Mickey and Minnie in like the 80s. And then, so those are really old. They're from like back then.
You could tell. They were legit.
But they look frightening.
They're very frightening.
Because, they're made out of like wiring and like paper mache, and they're just... It's like a kind of skinnier, more sinister looking Mickey and Minnie.
Like, I dressed up as Mickey for one of the recent historical roasts that we did, and I had full Mickey makeup done with like a black swim cap and then like ears, and like people, I got so many messages on Instagram that people are like, this is so scary.
Yeah. I think it's because Mickey's very round. And so when it's like a round Mickey face, then you're like, oh, okay, that's
nice
cute. But you have like a long, skinny face. And when Mickey's like skinny, it looks like evil Mickey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody messaged me, they're like, this is like the perfect mix between the Joker and Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, I'm into like evil Mickey stuff. Like I've gone and like Google image.
That could be kind of some cool cosplay.
Yeah. Yeah, like Google image like evil Mickey.
I just ripped your arm off.
Exactly. Or like with razor edge teeth and stuff and bloody. Maybe Goth Mickey would be fun.
That'd be a fun one.
Maybe we should go as different Mickeys for next Halloween.
I think we should. You know what? This is kind of crazy, but Goth Mickey Mouse is actually calling into the show right now. That's crazy. Hello? Is this Goth Mickey?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Hello? You sound a little quiet there. Are you okay, buddy?
Well, I'm Goth Mickey, man. I mean, what do you want from me?
I'm
sad.
Okay, you're sad. Sorry.
Life isn't worth living.
Mickey, don't say that.
Minnie hasn't been returning my calls. I've been
You haven't been cutting yourself again, have you?
been cutting again.
No, Goth Mickey. Oh, Goth darn it.
And my hands are so big, it's hard to do a subtle cut. These are pretty deep. I don't have the finger dexterity that humans do to cut themselves.
Okay, Goth Mickey, this is kind of this phone call is kind of alarming and ruining my childhood right now.
It gets worse, Jeremiah.
What's worse than that?
Well, before Minnie left, I stole some of her eyeliner, because you know I'm goth and I have to put on eyeliner. And
Uh-huh.
I don't know all the tricks about cleaning makeup, and now I have 3 eye styes.
You have 3 eye styes?
Life isn't worth living, Jeremiah.
No, it is. It is, Goth Mickey. You need to step off from that ledge, my friend. I'll understand, okay?
I took 1/3 of an Oxycontin.
Wait, what did that do to you?
Made me feel for once.
Wow, what did feeling feel like, Goth Mickey?
Temporary, fleeting, bittersweet.
Well, okay, I've got to, like, improve your mood. I mean, don't tell me, like, Goofy is goth as well.
Goofy's got a whole other world of problems.
What's his issues?
Well, Goofy's into dominatrix stuff, so he likes to get spit on, and he likes to get hit.
I think Goth Goofy might be calling in right now.
Oh, hey, what's up, Goth Goofy?
I just got chained up to a mattress and had my taint lit on fire.
That sounds expensive.
Oh, it was. It wiped out my savings account.
Goofy, you gotta stop hurting yourself like that.
Oh, it's rich coming from you, the guy who cuts himself all the time.
At least I don't involve other people. At least I saved my money. I'm a decent father. You're spending all your money on getting sodomized.
Hey, listen, my son Max hasn't talked to me in years.
Well, why do you think so? You spent all his college money on getting hit in the face and yelled at in German.
It's a condition, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, too.
There's just so much sorrow in the world. It's like everything's a dark cloud I have to see through.
Sometimes I feel like I'm living in the basement of the shadows of my former self.
I don't even know who my former self is. It's like I'm a shell of a shell of a shell.
Sometimes I wonder if I was just a normal dog, if I would have led a happier life, or if, because I'm an anthropomorphic dog, I'm wishing to become the human that I'll never be. Look?
Yeah, anthropomorphism's pretty tricky, I guess. But you know what?
What?
The simple life is for sissies.
Yeah, that's right. You want to go rob a bank?
Maybe like a bank somewhere kind of
Like an ATM stand? Next to a Hot Topic, perhaps?
What's the point?
You're right.
All right, we just lost both of them. I don't know where they
Oh
went.
my God,
But that was kind of hard to listen to.
Yeah, I mean, that was depressing.
Yeah. Who would have thought that Mickey is a cutter?
I mean, it's years later. He's probably worn out from years of working and stuff.
Dude,
and, like,
he's so just tired of the system. I can't even imagine him going to Walt Disneyland and just seeing the image of his former self in his prime.
Yeah.
He'll never get back to that.
And now everyone's making Pixar movies and stuff, and he's like, I want to be the next Moana. And they're like, Mickey, you had your time. Just kind of hang out, and we'll let you know when we need you.
Die peacefully.
Yeah, so he's isolating.
Wait till the next reboot.
Right.
Sad stuff. So we're at your party, and there's...
And you jumped in the pool.
I jumped in the pool with Dan Madonia. Okay.
My grandma still brings that up.
Does she
she'll
really?
go, and your crazy friends jumped in the pool.
Okay, so imagine this beautiful mansion in Beverly Hills.
It's
and-
not a mansion, and it's like a
Okay,
nice
for
house,
some-
but it's not like...
Here's the thing. For somebody that's coming from Kansas and from the Midwest, this thing's a mansion, okay?
It's so not.
I consider it a mansion, okay?
It's
because
a
let me paint,
five. I guess it's a 6
How many
bedroom.
bedroom? Okay, it's a 6-bedroom.
But really, I'd call it a 5, but you could call it a 6.
Okay, 5.5. We'll do that. You walk in, there's gold columns and stuff.
There's no gold columns.
There is gold somewhere
there's
in that
not.
house. There definitely was.
Maybe gold stuff, but not gold columns.
Okay, somewhere a banister or something was gold. I specifically remember that.
I'm there all
Did my
the
white
time.
trash mind just imagine? I just walked in. I'm like, gee, this is wild. This is swell. I've never been in a place like this before.
Yeah.
So I walk in and I'm looking at all the place. Does it have black and white checkered tile floor in some place?
Kind of. Yeah, the kitchen sort of.
Okay, perfect. You walk out to the back and everything, the garden area, everything is so well kept. It's clearly a lot of groundskeepers put their love and time into making sure everything's
Yeah, there's
perfect.
a koi pond.
There's a freaking koi
A
pond there,
pool.
and then there's a pool. So you have all these rich and fancy people walking around
They're
dressed
not
up really
rich and
nice.
fancy. I come from everyone in my family's. I wouldn't call them. Some of them might be fancy.
Your grandma was dressed up.
She's all. Yeah, well, she's a grandma.
Okay, well she had some of her friends there.
Right.
Okay,
'Cause
so
she's
that-
an old lady from Brooklyn. They like to get their hair did. And
Right.
stuff.
So her friends were dressed up and stuff. So
Yeah.
so far everything that I've said, I've had a great rebuttal to.
Yeah.
and
But
a great
I back
response
down.
to.
Who backs down?
You back down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't fight. I go, this is what I think. Then someone goes, well, this is it. And I go, okay, keep going.
So far I'm correct. Then next to the koi pond and then outside there's different catering stations and there's different open bar stations. And then there's a pool that nobody is using because it's, it's...
Well, there's tables set up
It's
everywhere.
our grandson. Yeah, there's tables to eat and stuff. It's our grandson's birthday. Who would get in the pool? Benji had thrown out there that there was a pool and to bring your swim trunks. So Dan Madoni and I were literally the only ones who took our shirts off and jumped in the pool. And there's music playing and stuff. And literally we feel rich people's eyes just honing in and centering in on Dan and I. And we can literally feel them thinking oh, Benji invited a couple of his poor friends.
No one in my family has that type of inner monologue. Everyone in
Dude,
my family
that
grew up
was-
so poor, so they're all kind of gritty. They might have money, but they're gritty.
Look at these.
And they're not that rich.
Look at
they're
these
medium.
two poor idiots in the pool over here. What are they doing? Trying to embarrass us in front of
at Benjie's 31st birthday, huh?
It's probably they were more, even though Dan is half Jewish, they have like a Jewish superiority complex. So they're probably like, look at these non-Jews just swimming and happy.
And just so
with their
fun.
blonde, beautiful hair.
Yeah, it was just two blonde dudes.
It was two blonde, skinny guys.
Yeah,
I think
with
that was
long
probably
blonde
what
hair.
was going on in their heads.
Look at these two Gentiles
Yeah.
stinking up the pool over there. Disgusting.
Yeah.
I can't believe Benji invited them. I mean, seriously, what's going on?
No, they know what's up.
I'm glad that your grandma still brings that up because I think that that's probably, one of the highlights of her party throwing extravaganzas from over the years.
Yeah, I think so.
It's got to be, top 5 for sure. There's this one time I entertained all these comedian boys.
Well, what she's also really into with these parties is she's really into photography, so she'll hire a photographer.
Yeah.
And then for literally the next 2 to 3 years, she was working on an album of photos from that party.
Really?
And then it got to the point where she like made all these books, and I now have a huge drawer in my house of photo albums my grandma gives me.
Oh, that's so cool.
And what's really funny is one of the people I invited, Brady Matthews, a funny comedian friend, he came, he was like, hey, I'm with 7 people. Can we just come? And I'm just like, yeah, sure, come. And so my grandma made like a zillion of these albums, and there's a whole page dedicated to Brady Matthews and like 8 people I don't know. And there's even pictures of them without Brady at all. And my grandma like printed albums and dedicated entire pages to groups of people I don't even know who they are.
That's so great. Your grandma's awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
Dude,
Getting old though.
Yeah, mine's getting up there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just celebrated my grandma's 90th birthday. I went back to Kansas. Yeah.
How's she doing?
She's doing all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people were shocked because like her family from like Mississippi came and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And people who knew her from whenever she was a missionary.
Uh-huh.
So this was like old school Christians. Like
Right.
old school. So they were literally, somebody hopped on the piano and started like playing Amazing Grace, and then everybody just started singing it at this like family reunion. And I was just like doing Instagram videos of it, just like laughing and stuff, because it's like for people out here, that kind of behavior is so shocking. Like, oh, you know how we should celebrate somebody's birthday? We should get around, love each other, and sing Amazing Grace. Like, it was literally like so polar opposite than, some like people were like messaging me. They're like, this is how you grew up. I was like, well, this is the extreme version of like moments of whenever I grew up. But yeah.
I mean, I grew up around a lot of weird Jew stuff that I'm sure
Like
other
super
people...
traditional.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up like really religious or anything, but there'd be stuff where you would be like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, there's this one thing, Passover, the Jews getting freed from slavery in Egypt holiday.
Yeah, of course.
And then they eat the matzah.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, we have a family tradition where there's a tray you put the matzah on that everyone has at their dinner table. My dad will run around the dinner table singing a song in Hebrew, hitting your head with the matzah tray, and then he'll hit everyone's head with the matzah tray.
It's just his fun tradition.
Yeah. But stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't see a lot of Christian stuff growing up because I was in Jewish school through 8th grade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So how are you pretty unfamiliar then with Christian faith and stuff like that?
I know some stuff because I had the Old Testament, so I have all that. New Testament stuff, I don't really know that much. But then because...
Dude, you gotta check out the new stuff. Dude, you got to, man. It's crazy, man.
I know some of it, but...
Dude, wait till you get to Revelations, dog. Man, there's some crazy stuff going on there, man. I'm just like pushing Benji slowly. Dude, man, that's where it's at, man. You gotta check out that new.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
This is like a cool Christian cat that's just like, man, yeah, the Old Testament, yeah, it's tried and true, it's good stuff, but dude, that New Testament, that's straight up fire, dog.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, most things are Christian, so Christmas movies you watch and stuff like that. This may sound like a very silly question, but when Adam Sandler came out with the Hanukkah song, were you like, this is awesome? Yeah, because we already loved Adam Sandler because of those albums. So when the Hanukkah song came out, you're like, oh my God, the coolest, funniest guy made a Hanukkah song. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, this dude is freaking representing us.
I never felt like it was... I don't know. Yeah. I never had a lot of pride in being Jewish, so it was never like, finally, we're being represented. It wasn't like that. It was just more so like, I thought it was hilarious.
Right.
Because to this day, like, I'm not like a religious person, and it all kind of makes me uncomfortable.
Gotcha. That's understandable.
At least that aspect of it, where it's like you're like having the identity behind.
Yeah, like I'm putting my entire like this is part of what people are going to associate with my personality and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
'Cause
mean,
I knew those people for sure growing up, where like you take that out of let's take religion or spirituality out of them, and then there's like, oh, you're just a shell of a person.
right,
You haven't like found other things to fill your life out with.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
I consider myself Jewish, like biologically, because I look and sound and sneeze Jewish. But
How do Jews sneeze?
it's actually we sneeze as we talk. It's like the sneeze integrates into our voice. Yeah.
Dude, another first that I want to talk about with you was you and Tony were really the first door guys at the Comedy Store to really push for me to get up, but you were like
first.
You were the OG one. You were the OG one.
I saw something in you, Jeremiah.
Benji was literally, he pulled me aside after I had a really strong set in the original room on Potluck, but Benji got me that spot as well. He got me the spot. I did well. I delivered, and then he brought me over to the talent coordinator at the time, and he's like, "You need to start watching this guy."
Yeah, and
Like,
I always put you up.
and you always put me up.
Right.
Like it was one of those things where, it's way different now with the host. Like it's way less kind of political than it used to be. It's pretty freaking random now. Like they draw, like some people start to get up a little bit more where the door guys kind of decide, I think a little bit, but it used to be like
Host chooses.
the host chooses like the entire 16 spots.
Right.
Which like you would go out there with the door guys and be like, yes, no.
Oh, the
yes.
open mic spots.
For the open mic
But I would
spots.
also give you non-open
You give me
mic
friends
spots.
and family spots. Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be but it would go back and forth where they would let you pick the open mic spots and then they wouldn't. But mostly
yeah.
I think I would give you just the regular spot after the open mic.
Yeah.
Or I'd put you up
On-
I don't remember now, but.
Yeah. You put me in the friends and family spot, and then the talent coordinator is like, I want you to do the open mic for a while, but I'll make sure that you get up on the open mic. So like you help like really get my foot in the door at the Comedy Store, which I'll always be grateful for. It's pretty awesome.
Because there was nobody like you. There still isn't. So I was like,
appreciate that.
yeah. For me, I'm all about diversity.
Hey man, I'm into it too.
Because it's supply and demand in stand-up.
Well,
If there's other people like you, and that's why there's like 30 bitter, good-looking comics who look great and can't get spots or whatever. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not a good example, but like
I know what you mean though.
it's that if there's other people like you, then it doesn't matter. You can be bitter, you can be this, but it's like at the end of the day, you are replaceable by a bunch of other people.
If you're not
supply and demand.
differentiating yourself with something, and what I would always try to do, I'd always try to do something new or something different, and then I'd also, the whole goal of my set was to make the room better than how I found it. And that's, I think, why other hosts started putting me up too, is because it's like, he may not have like an amazing set, but the energy does improve after he gets off stage and does his time, kind of thing. That was like my goal. But yeah, you worked there as a door guy for a long time.
3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
Some people a lot longer there.
yeah,
Yeah.
true. But yeah, you worked your way up through.
Yep.
And became a paid regular through the door guy route.
Yeah.
How did you get passed ahead of any friends or anything like that they were like it was kind of upsetting to them or anything like that, or were you kind of on par with your other people in your quote unquote class?
I think the first one to get passed out of our class was Francisco, and then I think it was Matt, and then it was like Esther. And then I think I may have gotten passed right before Tony, because I remember Tony just being really pissed. And I don't remember if that was because I got passed first or just Matt did or
if
something.
he was just happened to be last in the class.
Yeah,
of
I think, but it was like within it was all within probably like 6 months.
Yeah.
But maybe Tony was before me. I don't really remember now, but I'm pretty certain like Matt and Francisco were the first ones, and then Esther, I'm pretty sure, was right before me, and Martindale before me.
Which is pretty cool that you and Esther got passed around the same time, because I took that picture of that pilot script that was at my place from forever ago. I found it in my car which is now Alone Together.
Oh, the short we made.
The short that you made, and this was like years ago.
Yeah.
Like before you sold the pilot or anything.
It was when we were making our short. Was
Yeah.
that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to hear something? My grandma's birthday party that she threw for me was the next day after we finished shooting our short.
Oh, wow. So what year was that?
That was 2015.
Okay.
No, 2014.
2014.
Yeah, that was August 2014.
I just want to
my
give the
31st.
listeners and viewers like a timeline on sometimes how long a creative idea can take to blossom. Because when did you guys start shooting? Like when did you sell the show and like when did you start shooting it?
The timeline is like this. December 2013, we had our outline done.
Okay.
It took us from December 2013 to August 2014 to like find someone to help us shoot it and prepare for like do pre-production stuff. We shot it in August of 2014, finished editing it December 2014. Found people who liked it. We met up with the Lonely Island production company, liked it, blah, 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 blah. But we didn't actually get to pitching it until December 2015.
Okay.
And then we pitched it. We sold it to networks. Then we didn't actually shoot the pilot until August 2016. Whew. And then we didn't shoot the actual season 1 until 2017.
Oh man.
And then it didn't air until January 2018.
That's a lot of waiting in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why everything's so easy now. The waiting and this, like, you know, with what we do, it's like sometimes you have something, sometimes you're waiting, sometimes you're pushing for the next thing. It's like, and that's why when we got canceled, like it didn't hurt as bad as people think it would.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because like I didn't love it, I did, but it was just because you're always in that mind frame of like, this might go, this might not move forward. This might
Right.
do this might not do that. This is really hard. Like, it's like, you're always ready. And when it was happening, it was such a cool experience that I didn't even feel like I deserved it. And I felt like I could lose it at any second because I didn't feel like I have like imposter syndrome. And so, yeah, it's like, it was easy for me to get canceled because I never even felt like I deserved it.
But I mean, yeah, you guys did
Not easy. I'm sad, but.
Right. You guys did 2 full seasons though, right?
Yeah, we did 2 full seasons.
2 full seasons, and now it's available on Hulu, right?
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
I mean, dude,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
kind of how
we're pretty stoked.
That's kind of how I went into. I mean, so far every season of Roast Battle because we never know if that show's going to come back or not.
Right.
We're super grateful to be doing it, especially with friends and stuff. Because what's cool about what you guys did on the show is there's a lot of comedians that you were able to get onto the show, which is like it's so dope. Going back to whenever you get something as a comic, you want to be able to help out your other comedian friends, which is really cool. I have a lot of respect for what you and Esther did with that.
It makes it so fun because then you have these incredible moments where it's like you're working with someone on a TV set and there's like a crew of 50 people and it's professional and this and that and costumes and makeup and blah, blah, blah. And then you like look at the person you're working with and it's your friend who you remember like doing open mics with 7 years ago or like, and you both know your hustle. It's like, that's the thing with stand-up, man. It's like at the end of the day, like we are all sort of hustlers or grinders, whatever you want to call it. And obviously there's some who have more, to use one of my friends' vernacular, they have obvious moves or more moves than others.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like we're all grinders, you know what I mean? We're all people who like pushed forward and weren't making money or breaking even on gigs or emailing. Every comedian can go 5 years back in their emails and find the most embarrassing, thirsty emails or texts they sent or like, we're all grinders and we're all like thirsty. So like, not thirsty, like you grow up, but
Yeah.
you remember where you started and what you
remember
did.
all those cringy moments where you're like, oh man, I can't believe well, I'm glad I had the tenacity to keep going with that.
I think a lot about it was like a metaphor I read in some self-help book, but they talk about like how a rocket ship uses most of the fuel just to get out of the atmosphere, and then once it's out of the atmosphere, it can kind of coast a little bit. And I think it's kind of like that. It's like when you're a young comic, you're just grinding so hard. So yeah, when you get to work with people in like a cool professional thing, and you remember the bar show they used to ran, or how desperate you both were, or the open mics you did. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love seeing friends get things and like move forward and and up.
Me too.
Dude,
it's so wild.
Yeah, it's dude. This made me laugh so hard. So Benji was nice enough. I think I auditioned a couple times for Alone Together.
Oh, okay.
Whenever they were doing the castings for it, and I went up to Benji at the Comedy Store, like after I had sent in a self-tape, like I was on the road, like we were doing Kill Tony's like in Phoenix or something like that, so I had to do like a self-tape on the road, and I went up to you at the store, I was like, hey Benji, I auditioned for your show, and you just looked at me and you go, I'm trying, man.
It's so hard.
And I was like, oh, I didn't get it. Got it.
It's the toughest situation because you want to help all your friends, but there's all sorts of stuff that come up
Oh,
and different
totally.
voices and that. And it's like,
Yeah.
it also sucks because some people work on every show is a different circumstance. So some people will work on a show and they don't have to audition their friends. They can be like, we want that friend to play this part.
Yeah.
And then the
It's just
people in
like
charge say,
insert this role here. Yeah.
we didn't always have that situation. And that doesn't mean one's better than the other. It's just what's up. But yeah, we tried to help everyone we could. We really did.
It was cool, man.
And it was hectic at times, but we did our best. I did my best. I really did. I don't like, there's obviously some friends that I look at now where I'm like, oh, I wish I could have got them on or helped them or this and that. But
The fact that you're even putting that energy out there to
Yeah.
that you wanted to help and that you did help the certain friends that you were able to and they made it through, the checklist or whatever. That's all that you needed to do. Like, that's amazing.
not in the eyes of someone who's like, why didn't they help me?
Yeah, but like,
not gonna help
dude,
them now.
it's like I appreciated that you even threw an audition my way. I wasn't like expecting it, and like I didn't get it. I wasn't like, man, they could have done more. I'm like, oh, I just didn't fit it right enough or whatever. Like, but I'm a
Right.
pretty logical,
Right.
grounded person. I'm just like appreciative. Do you have any crazy comedy store stories like
So many.
working there like as a door guy?
So many.
Do you want to share? Does any come to mind whenever like you get asked that question?
Well, I mean, Benji's seen a lot of stuff at the store.
Wait a second. This is a big surprise, but a former talent coordinator of the Comedy Store, Tommy Morris, is actually calling in to the show right now. Hello, Tommy?
Well, hello, Jeremiah.
Hey, Tommy, how's it going?
Well, it's not that simple, Jeremiah. It's going okay, I'm just, I'm gonna feel so bad doing this.
Well, you don't have to tell me about specifics with anything that's going on currently, but you did call in for a reason. Did Benji and you have a lot of crazy stories?
Well, Benji's, as you know, a Jew, and they're of a different fabric, Jeremiah, and you realize that we're both blonde, okay? So I get where you come from, but I also understand the Jew brain because of Mitzi.
Right. I guess that makes sense in a weird way.
They're of a different fabric.
Okay, they're of a different fabric. All right. So, do you have something that comes to mind? Did you give any advice to Benji that the Benji remembers? Do you
Don't be
think?
like one of those Middle Eastern real estate people who come in here.
Okay, yeah.
Come in here, they act like they own the place. Sometimes at potluck, Benji would act like that, and I'd pull him aside and I'd be like, hey, stop acting so Middle Eastern. But be Middle Eastern because we need that.
Use it, don't use it. Okay, all good advice.
Well, it's not just that.
What else?
Well, it's about your beats, Jeremiah. That's what I was always telling you. You're going up there doing jumping jacks and gargling water and
I mean, yeah, all of this is true.
wearing socks and whatnot.
Yeah, I was wearing socks. Yeah.
I always told you, we didn't need another long-haired guy, okay? We already have Ingram. We had to make sure you find your own angle.
Right. It was definitely a filling of slots thing for
Too
sure.
many blondes.
Too
Sorry I didn't pass you.
It's all good. I forgive you. Now, did you have any crazy interactions or crazy stories, Benji, with Tommy or with the Comedy Store?
The craziest night I saw there was the night people got blowjobs on stage.
Oh, I think we'll say goodbye to Tommy unless he was there that night. Was he there that night?
He definitely was not.
Okay, well, thanks for calling into the show, Tommy.
Of course I wasn't there that night. It was a Tuesday.
All right, well, now Tuesdays are ironically one of the hottest nights of the week, but that's interesting. Anyway, so Benji, what happened when everybody got blowjobs on stage?
There was a sex worker type lady there at the thing, like a porn star / sex worker type.
Entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Whatever. I'm not
She
claiming
was
to.
the enterprise of prostitutes?
Yeah, I don't know exactly, but
You
in
could
that
rent her,
sex worker adjacent or porn star
put
adjacent.
some miles on her, return her?
I don't know, man.
Listen, dude, I don't... Anyway.
I'll never forget how it started because I was part of what started it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was me and Sam Tripoli on the front patio talking to this girl who was like saying, talking a big game. And then there was some like open micer type hanging out there. And then I don't know if she was joking or what her thing was, but she was sort of attracting attention. And she sort of put her arm around him and was like, this guy has the biggest dick here. And I don't remember who this guy was. He was just like a guy who was lurking at the time. Maybe they were friends. I don't think they were. And then all of a sudden, I don't remember who yells it, but they're like, dick competition. And then I'll never forget, like, PJ, like, jumps on a cocktail table and starts, like, rubbing his dick to try to, like, prepare for a dick competition. Sort of in a joking manner, but, like, that was the thing. Oh, I also think what helped get this going was that I when I was a younger man, I could put my feet behind my head.
What?
And then I was like, and then I told the girl that, and she was like, I don't believe you. And I go, if I put my feet behind my head, will you? And she was like, yeah. So that's what sort of attracted a lot of attention.
Right.
All of a sudden, there's a lady in a skirt
and...
with her feet behind her head. So then the big dick competition, everyone starts yelling, and then Sam was like, take it to the stage, because Don Barris was up because it was sort of later.
Yeah.
So literally the whole front patio, just like probably like 15 people come up the stairs. And we go to Don. We're like, Don, we're having a big dick competition. And Don's like, well, okay, you know, like
yeah, he goes right into it.
He goes into it, but it like acts bashful.
Yeah. Oh, gee, I don't know, guys.
Yeah.
Are we really gonna do this? Get up here.
So she gets on stage. I'm pretty sure she got naked or something. And then the two guys who were willing to take their dicks out, who were there, were Dan Madonia, who we brought up once,
Dan Madonia,
and Ari Shafir, and they both, got blown on stage, but neither of them could really get it up, so it wasn't as much of a big dick. It evolved from a dick competition to a blowjob competition while she was on stage acting all sexy, and Don was sort of being, or maybe Sam. There was,
Right.
But then, But I was in charge for shutting the front door, because Goldfinger was the manager. We used to have a manager, Goldfinger, and he was pretty chill.
Goldfinger.
And then I look at Goldfinger, I'm like, because Goldfinger's panicking. He's like, people are getting blown on stage, I'm going to get it. He has a panic look in his eye, and I go, Goldfinger, shut the front door. And then he was like, good idea. And I'm like, yeah, and shut the back door too. Like, people are getting blown on stage. Like, what are you doing?
Put the curtains up.
Yeah.
We can't function as a business right now.
Yeah, like right now, the doors have to be shut.
This is the underground blowjob railroad right now, okay? We have to make this happen. Goldfinger, get on it.
So those are my contributions. Getting her to put her feet behind her head on the patio, on like the floor of the patio. Before it was nice and slick. That was when it was like gravelly and gross.
Yeah.
And and then telling Goldfinger to shut the doors.
Wow. And she blew both Madonia and Ari Shafir?
Yes. And they were both well trimmed. I remember that. I remember being like, what's wrong with me? Like, I'm not ready to take my dick out. Like, they're like ready and trimmed. Like, they were very trimmed.
They're like porn star status. They're like ready to go.
I think at the time, they were younger and more robust about their sexuality.
Younger and robust. That's so great. Let's get into...
I don't know if they're still that pubeless. Maybe they are.
They might be. Or they could be, dude, just fierce in the bush game.
Yeah.
Who knows? Let's get into this next segment, Fanning Out.
Questions from fans.
I reached out to people online and asked them if they could ask Benji Aflalo any question. What question would it be? And I want to ask you a few. This is coming from Instagram. How similar is your real life relationship with Esther to your show Alone Together? I feel like it's not far off at Carvno on Instagram.
It's pretty similar. There's elements of having a TV show where things sort of have to be upped, whether it's stakes or like you need a character to be active.
Right, you got to heighten certain things.
Yeah, so in real life, like I'm not as active. Like the character on TV would like get himself into situations where he was lying or stuff like that. Like that doesn't really happen. But like, and me and Esther probably in real life are a little darker. No, I don't know if we're darker, but we're a little different. I think we're both kind of shut-ins in real life, so we're not getting into like as many like...
Right, because if you're a shut-in, then obviously you're not going out and getting into these predicaments.
Yeah, the show is basically like, what if these shut-ins were forced to do stuff? That was sort of our...
Yeah.
But I don't want to put that on her that she's a shut-in. She does plenty of stuff also. So like, but it's pretty similar. I'm not a very imaginative person, so given the opportunity to just write what I would do, I'm just going to think of the first thing I would do and try to run with it.
Right.
Ask people if they think it's funny. If they do, I'll just go for it.
Did the show go directly to Freeform, or did it almost land at another network before it went there? Because stylistically, did you have to shift it to Freeform, or were they just like, this is great, this works?
Well, in the first stages of like selling the idea... with using our short as sort of a little helping tool of selling it, we had opportunities to go to other networks, but we chose Freeform.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, this one comes from At Connor Chase 95 on Instagram, give us some of your first bits when you just started stand-up. Do you have any premises or anything that you remember that you would try to go on stage with that, nothing ever came to fruition from those?
I was so bad at comedy for so long, and I was very aggressive and mean, and so there was a lot about what I was doing that's like so humiliating now. But I was sort of a little aggressive and mean and into that.
Dude, you were dark with your wit on stage.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
I was, and
it was very unexpected too, because you're like, this guy is he's like this evil guy. This is
I used to ask for crowd work. I'd be like, so who'd you rather sleep with, your mom or your dad? And people would be like, what are you asking me? And I'm like, it's crowd work. Ain't this fun? And they're just like, Jesus.
Just horrible questions.
Yeah, I mean, I just had like a lot of one-liners. I did like a lot of race jokes. Like, I'm not like racist, obviously, but back then people were still like doing like silly jokes about black people or Mexicans or women or whatever it was. So I had more race stuff that was just stupid that I don't do anymore.
Do you still talk about your house maid?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
like I used to have a
funny.
joke where I go, I used to date a black chick. She was really self-centered. I called her Narcissista. See, like, just awful. And then
I really want Narcissista to call into the show right now.
and then I had another joke because this is of the moment. I'd be like, did you hear Michael Richards is going to star in the new Tim Burton movie?
Oh, really?
It's called N-Word Scissorhands.
Oh my goodness. I like that one.
See, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, some of the act outs that I no longer do are so embarrassing and cringeworthy.
Right, yeah, you would commit to
They're-
act outs really hard.
Commit to, just everything. So it's just like I have to see it through, even if it's bombing. And those would be some of my sets in the OR during, the potluck or friends and family, just like me committing just so hard and then just like getting like hardly anything back.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, back to the writing room.
It's because improv's all about commitment, and that's where you came from. And it was
Yeah.
just like, if I commit, everyone will clap for me. And then you
Yeah.
start doing comedy at 1 a.m. for 3 people, and you're like, I got to do more than commit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's, yeah, that has definitely made me a much more well-rounded comedian, like figuring that part out.
Yeah, you don't want to just,
At John Jardin on Instagram, weirdest religious/Jewish superstitions that you've heard of.
Jewish superstitions I've heard of. Nothing unusual. I mean, a lot of them put those mezuzahs up on the door and kiss them. I mean, a lot of it is crazy. I mean, they make their women wear wigs, the religious Jews.
Oh,
and
really?
then, like the way they make them dress.
I didn't
yeah.
know that one.
Yeah, a lot of the religious women you see are wearing wigs because they can't show their real hair.
What kind of wigs?
Wigs, man.
I mean, just like
Wigs that look like
just
hair.
like pinned down,
I don't
like
know.
in buns or whatever, or just actual whatever kind of wigs.
I don't know a lot about wigs.
No. I'm
Never
just
had to
saying,
wear
like,
a wig.
I mean, I'm like, they're not obviously doing like Jew afros that are like they put the women in and stuff like that. It's like long-haired wigs. Is that what you're talking about?
Imagine you're a woman who's being forced to wear a wig. You're gonna like pick the prettiest wig possible, I assume.
Okay, it can be any style.
Yeah, it's not like everyone has to look.
It's not like like mohawks and stuff like that. that like they're like, I want that one because that one's edgy.
It's because you're a Christian, so you think everyone has like the Christian housewife haircut, like the Philadelphia Quaker thing or the Pennsylvania Quaker. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, they wear wigs. A lot of the stuff they do to women, but that's just like really religious Jews.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the stuff really religious Jews is weird. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't use electricity on the weekends, and I could
What?
go on and on.
That's a real thing?
Yeah, on the Sabbath from Friday night to sundown Saturday, no electricity.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff where I think like, you get to heaven or wherever you believe in, if there's an afterlife, and like all those little things, like I can't imagine like God sending somebody to hell and being like, remember when you turned on that light bulb that one weekend? Do you know what I mean?
I think that's not what religion is necessarily for. It's just to
no.
like keep you in line and give you something. It's like you said, when you don't have that, what do you have? And
Yeah.
then they just choose to have that.
You'll like this question. At Mo_Brains, top 3 ska bands of all time.
Well, this is a tough question because different ones contributed different things.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm sure there's a Jamaican ska band that I don't even know that really is the origin of everything or one of the hugest influences. And then you could even look at like the Specials, who had such a huge influence on ska after that. And then there's some punk bands that really influence third wave ska. So I'll just give you my 3 favorite ska bands that are straight up ska, and then I'm going to give you an asterisk. I think my 3 favorite ska bands from that era, I would have to give it to Less Than Jake, the Aquabats, Mormons, and I'll probably go to Real Big Fish. Probably, yeah, Less Than Jake, Real Big Fish, and the Aquabats. And then I'd also maybe go to the Hippos. But in reality, I think one of the most because I was mostly into third wave ska. I'm a really big Operation Ivy fan, and they're mostly known as a punk band. But they've had a huge influence on ska and a huge influence on the punk scene of the '90s. So I think Operation Ivy is the most important.
Little known fact: whenever I'm on the road with Joel Jimenez, before we leave our hotel room to go do Kill Tony's or stand-up shows, we listen to Less Than Jake before we leave the hotel room.
Oh, that's cute.
I've come to my senses. You know that song? I'm my own worst enemy. Brum, 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 brum.
It's so weird because as into ska as I was and obsessed with it and still sort of am, there's so many bands that I only know one album really well.
Right.
So like Less Than Jake, I only really know Losing Streak really well. The Aquabats only had maybe I only know their first 2 albums really well because you kind of grew out of it. So, and the Hippos only know one of their albums really well. So yeah, after Losing Streak, I didn't hold on to Less Than Jake. Sorry.
Sorry, guys. This is just a nice comment that at Liberty Hempco put. They said, "What can we do to help get Alone Together picked up on Netflix? That show is so good, and there's no way it should have ever been canceled. Esther and Benji are so good on that show. The writing is great. The acting is great. Everything about that show is great. We need at least 10 more seasons."
That's really sweet. Thank
cool?
you. My guess is just because of the way things work now, is I don't think it would ever end up on Netflix just because it's part of another huge corporate thing.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know. Tweeted Hulu, startup thing.
Yeah.
Like I remember when our show was getting promoted. Shadowhunters on Freeform got canceled, and then there was a whole army of hashtag Save Shadowhunters. So every time Freeform posted anything about anything, there'd be literally 100 Shadowhunters fans being like, "Save Shadowhunters! Screw this show! Why are you canceling Shadowhunters and promoting this guy?" So it's it kind of is just yeah. I don't know how to tell you to save our show. It's sweet of you, but it would probably take a Shadowhunters army type of people.
Big undertaking.
Yeah.
These 2 questions are pretty funny. At Julio Horchata, how much does Benji hate poor people?
Oh, that's the problem with everyone always being like, "You're rich, you're rich." It's like, oh god.
You're like, no, it's not like that. I swear.
And there's probably a lot of comedians who are way richer than me by a lot. I'm not even that rich.
But you just talk about it on stage. That's the only difference.
I talk about where I'm from, which
right?
Everybody does, and I'm not rich myself.
But I think that
I come from successful people.
I think instantly there's a lot of poor comedians who move out here, and they just hear buzzwords like Beverly Hills, and they're like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah,
I think it's more of that, you know?
Yeah, because no names, but there's so many successful comedians right now. No one's tweeting at Sebastian being like, "What's it like to be rich and a comedian now?" It's like, what?
Right.
And he's doing great.
Yeah.
That's just one example of the many comedians who have way more money than me who don't get asked stuff like that.
Remember when we went to go show Todd Phillips one of your family's pieces of real estate to see if he was going to buy it?
Yeah.
And Benji literally called me up. He's like,
because we were working on something.
We were working on something like a sketch or something.
Can we do this really fast? I have to show my parents' house to Todd Phillips.
He's like, do you want to show my parents' house to Todd Phillips with me? I was like, yeah.
And we're both so desperate. Like Jeremiah's like, I'm gonna get discovered at Benji's house by Todd Phillips.
I know. I'm literally business cards in the wallet. Here we go. Hopefully this organically comes up, which it did not.
And then you see him and you're trying to be cool like all the savvy LA people. And you're like, "Hey, Todd Phillips, heard of Goat Milk?"
Yeah. Dude, I have to bring up this one sketch. So Benji and I did this sketch, and it's the only sketch that I've literally... It never went out because the poster was so controversial.
You shouldn't have made the poster.
I shouldn't have made the poster.
Because the poster was so out of context.
It was so out of context.
The sketch idea was, what if a Jew and a Nazi were just roommates?
Yes.
And nothing about them it was just very pedestrian roommate situations.
It was very low stakes kind of thing.
But he was dressed as a Nazi, and I was dressed very Jewish.
A Nazi armband, and
I
he had the
Jew
freaking
armband.
yellow Jewish.
But besides that, we were just regular guys.
Yeah, we were just in T-shirts like this and stuff. And Benji comes into the living room. I'm like a mess. I've got like,
He's the slobby. It's like, yeah.
I'm the slobby Nazi that happens to live with his Jewish buddy. There's cans, there's pizza, there's trash and stuff all around. And Benji walks in. He's like, "Hey man, you left a dead Jew in the shower." I'm like, "Oh yeah. My bad. I'll get to that later." And he's like, "No, you need to clean it up."
I'm like in my towel.
You're like in the
I'm
towel,
trying to
ready to go.
shower,
You're
and
like,
there's
"I'm
a dead
ready right
Jew.
now."
He's absorbing water. And so it was just that. It was probably like a 80-second sketch.
Yeah. It was very short.
It was just like a funny, quick
But
thing.
it was the visuals, like, so the poster.
So
it was,
Jeremiah, the marketing genius,
hello.
takes a screen grab.
Yep, I made a poster and I photoshopped like a coming soon flyer, and we had the armbands on, and we were like doing a sitcom pose like this, and I literally posted it. It's the quickest response that I've ever gotten to anything that I posted online. I got a phone call from who's my now wife. She goes, "What did you just post?" I go, "What? I just posted something like 3 minutes ago." She goes, "My mom just called me in a panic." I was like, "Your mom called you?" And I wasn't even talking to her mom very much at that point. And this was like early stages in our relationship. She's like, "Jeremiah, I never asked you to take things down. You might have to take this one down. My mom just freaked out on me. She's like, I have a lot of Jewish friends. I don't know if you should be dating a guy like this." Like all like just went off on the gamut. I deleted it, and Benji's like, "Hey man, why'd you?"
I was like, when are we posting the video? I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I was just like, when are we posting the video?
And I was like, "Oh yeah, about that.
We can't.
We can't." And Benji's like, "It's great. It was funny."
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
To this day, that's funny. That's still a refillable
It's
idea.
still, yeah.
We have like 2 other sketches in the pipeline,
Oh, no,
and then we had to.
We were going to make this our web series. It could have been the Alone Together that never happened.
Yeah, had we just plowed on through.
Yeah, dude. I'm sure in this current climate that would have gone over really well.
Great now. Actually, it
Yikes.
probably would.
I doubt it.
But now it's like Nazis are everywhere. It's like everyday stuff.
Yeah, I guess so. It's the armband that was the problem.
I still have mine. Do you?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, it's in my costume trunk. I've kept every costume program. I still have the Lil Wayne braids. I still have all that stuff.
I have no artistic ability, and the Jewish star I made looked great.
It did look good. It looked very good. It looked legit, kind of in a sad way.
Yeah, it did look
Like
sad.
the material that you chose, I was
Yeah.
like, this is borderline sad.
And then, I remember, man, it's so funny thinking the hustle that you have to be on. I remember we were reaching out to costume people because we had to
Yes.
find Nazi stuff.
Yes.
And then, like, nobody had it. We were like, had to get it shipped from a different state. But when you reach out to people for Nazi stuff, they don't want to give it to you because they think you want it for the bad. Like, we
For
had
the
to,
wrong
like, they're
reasons.
like, what do you need this Nazi stuff for? Because, like, we
Yeah.
found a costume house.
And they wouldn't give it to us.
Yeah, and then we had to, like, explain and this and that.
They're like, we only we only do it in big bulks, like for plays, like The Sound of Music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We don't like give individual ones because we're like, hey, we need 2. They're like, what do you need 2 for? They're like, we just need
We're doing
it.
a
We're doing a
sketch.
sketch.
We
a
live in
student
Hollywood.
film. We're in Hollywood.
Yeah, we probably said
Yeah,
student.
probably that. That's the default excuse for shooting anything illegally without a permit or an LA. It's a student film.
Panasonic HVX.
Here we go.
It's a camera.
Yeah.
Do you think those still look good, those cameras? Do you think they still make a good quality video? Or will
Those
it
same
look
ones?
dated
No,
now?
it'll look kind of
Old?
Yeah, it'll look like
Back when we
stylized
were kids,
old. Yeah.
there was a camera called the Panasonic HVX.
Ooh, don't get me started, Benji.
And it was a really easy way to shoot stuff that looked okay. And then I think the 5Ds came along and just were much
It just
better.
wiped it out. Yeah.
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 No
Totally.
big deal, just tech talk, guys.
No big deal. NBD. Let's get into this final segment. Sax talk. Oh, sax talk. All right, I already prepped Benji. He's going to share a story of a sexual encounter, and I'm going to play some sweet, sweet sax to go along with it. Whenever you're ready, Benji.
How graphic can this be?
It can be as graphic as you'd like, my friend. We actually haven't had a graphic one in a while, so I'd like that.
Okay, this is a funny story. I have 2 funny stories from a trip to Canada I did with Pauly Shore. Do you want to hear both my Canada Pauly Shore stories?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'll start with the the graphic one. Just get going? Okay. I'm performing in Edmonton with Pauly Shore and Sandy Danton. We're performing at a rock venue because Pauly often will just kind of book his own things. And so we perform in Edmonton at this rock venue. We're hanging out afterwards. I remember I was talking to like a really nice girl and things were going good. We were sort of having a drink. And then I saw the bad girl. And I was like, oh, I feel like maybe this nice girl I'm talking to is like a little more of a sure thing, but I think I'm ready to go give my attention to that bad girl over there. She had like tats, like you could just tell from her vibe. So then I go to the bad girl. We start talking. Things are going good. And then I knew where the green room was. And I was like, hey, let's go to the green room if you want to see the green room, or I can show you around the venue, you know, even though I've only been there an hour or whatever. So we go into the green room. It's empty. We start making out. And then I don't remember how it came to this, but she pretty much told me she was wearing like a shiny girly shirt with like spaghetti straps. And she told me if I put it on, she would blow me. And so I did. I put on a woman's shirt and started kissing her, and it felt so uncomfortable. Like, because I think I'm already insecure about being small and like a wimp. So I don't have the confidence to wear women's clothing while kissing a girl. That's just, I don't have that. But I did it for a moment. I was like, I have to take this girl shirt off. So I take the girl shirt off, and sure enough, she starts blowing me, and then she sort of stops, and then I go, what's going on? She goes, well, my date's downstairs, and he's my ride home. I'm like, you're here with a date? And I'm also like in the middle of, you know, oral sex. So I'm just kind of like, well, I don't know. Like, do you have to go? Like, why don't I just get you a ride home or something like that? I can pay for a taxi. And then I'll never forget what she took that as me trying to show off that I had money. And she goes, I ain't impressed with money. I used to date a crack dealer. And I was like, okay. So she then took her Sharpie. Took a Sharpie because it was a green room, and then wrote her number on my torso, and I never saw her again. All right, the next story, also from that same tour. Now I'm in a more rural town in Canada, and show's over, or Pauly's up, like, because I open, so while the show's kind of still happening, I can sort of walk around and stuff. And there's a girl who is a lesbian, and we were talking. So she told me she was a lesbian. She also had like really short hair, but she was really pretty. It was like the prettiest girl trying to look like a boy, kind of dressed like a boy, like a plaid shirt, short hair. And at one point, like as a joke, she even came in the men's room with me, and I was like, this girl's so funny, and like she was really, really pretty, But yeah, a lesbian nonetheless. And we're having a great time. She like comes in the men's room with me. We're still drinking, and then she goes, hey, I'm 90% lesbian, and tonight I'm going to give you my 10%. And then she immediately threw up. And gave me a ride home to my hotel. And we didn't hook up at all. Those are the 2 stories.
Dude, what about me?
Oh man, I've got some more, but I don't want to speak on your behalf, Pauly.
Dude, I want you to talk about me, bro.
No, I'll let your secrets stay your secrets, Pauly.
Okay. Hey Benji.
Yeah.
What's your favorite memory with me, bro?
My favorite memory with Pauly is
Okay.
we're in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And he had like a local friend there because he tours a lot, so there'll be someone in different towns who he remembers from a previous tour or whatever.
Yeah, I do.
And so there's this guy, and he's like a sort of douchey guy, but nice guy. And he has a Range Rover, and like he came to the show the night before, and he's like, I'm taking you guys out to lunch tomorrow, blah, 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 blah. He's got his girlfriend. It's me, Sandy, and Polly in the back of a Range Rover. And then it starts overheating. And so the guy kind of starts panicking, and then we go to like a small, quaint part of Philadelphia to get lunch, but everything's closed because it was like a weird, quaint part. So now we have to drive to Whole Foods, and that takes a while. And then the whole time, Polly's like being like, is hungry and getting antsy.
Dude, I need to eat, bro.
Yeah, and the guy will be like, I might need to stop to get my car fixed, and then, but he won't say that. He'll go like this. He'll pinch you, and he'll whisper in your ear, and he'll be like, hey, tell him this isn't cool.
Hey, this is not. I don't like this.
And I'm like, he's trying to find us a place to eat. He goes, tell him it's not cool. And then I have to go, hey man, this isn't cool. And then
Dude,
the guy will be like,
Benji's my little puppet baby.
and the guy will be like, we're driving to Whole Foods. We're figuring it out. I'm like, Polly, we're going to Whole Foods. We're figuring it out. He'll be like, and then he'll pinch me again. He'll be like, tell him we're hungry. I'm like, he knows we're hungry. He'll be like, tell him. And I have to be like, hey man, we're hungry. And so I have to keep complaining for Polly to this guy who's like,
Dude,
trying
I don't
his
want to be the
best.
not cool guy, bro.
Yeah.
Dude,
But I imagine
Ben-
the guy could hear you whispering in my ear, Polly.
Dude, I always whisper at this level, bro.
I'll just never forget him being like, tell him. I like when Polly says, tell him, tell him,
Tell him.
tell him.
Dude, but why don't you tell him, Benji?
I did. You told me to tell him, and I told him.
Dude, tell him Papa's still hungry. Benji, thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
Yeah.
I loved both of those sax talk stories. Now you've got some great headlining dates coming up. So why don't you plug some of those for January and February, right?
Yeah. I'm going to be at Caroline's on Broadway in New York City
Oh,
on
heck yeah.
January 23rd. And then in Chicago, February 11th and 12th.
At Zanies? Wow.
So I'm really stoked. I've never gotten like legit headlining spots at legit clubs, so I'm really excited.
Guys, definitely come out. I hope you can come back on Kill Tony before them too.
Yeah, I feel like I just did it. I was going to ask him, but yeah, I feel like there's a couple podcasts I want to do that I just did to help promote my shows, and I'm like, I don't know if I can ask again, but yeah. Also hope I got those dates right. I was kind of going off memory.
It's all right. Well, tweet them and we'll retweet them and stuff like that. Check
Sweet.
out Benji in Chicago and New York coming up in January. It's happening in February.
Yeah, February 11th and 12th, Chicago, and then I'm pretty sure January 23rd at Caroline's on Broadway. Check their calendar.
Awesome. And then also Alone Together is on Hulu.
Yeah,
now.
if you want to watch Alone Together, you can always stream it on Hulu. Proud of the show. It's funny stuff.
Dude, I before we go real quick, I have one of my favorite memories of you is walking in late to my wedding.
Oh my God. Should we unpack it?
Yeah. Real quick. just
What's
to lay it
so
down.
funny about this is we're rushing to get to his wedding on time. We like park, me and Tony. We jump out of the car, and then we like don't know where the entrance is, so we end up going through like the back of the reception hall or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we like see people, and then they're like getting ready, so we're like, I think we're okay. And then we get to the part of the place where all the cards are that tell you what table, the table setting cards.
Mm-hmm.
We get there, and Earl's just standing there looking at the cards, trying to figure out where he's sitting. So right when we get there, we're like, oh sweet, we're good. Like Earl's just standing around grabbing his table setting thing, and we're standing right with him, so we're good. And Earl is this very like tall, sort of aloof energy, big thick glasses.
Oh,
Yeah, hey, what's up?
Oh, hey, Benji, tell me what's going on.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, okay, cool. He's standing around still. We didn't miss anything. And all of a sudden, we turn around, and it's Jeremiah and a priest, and they're just like, dude, sit down. Like, why are you just all standing here? And we're just like, I thought we're on time. Like, we got here, and Earl's just standing here.
Benji and Tony are like, hey, man, how's it going? I'm like, guys, get to the seat right now. Like, we're already started. Maya's about to come out into the aisle right now.
We were, like, obstructing his wedding.
Yeah.
But it was only because Earl was just standing there, too, when we got there.
Hey, man, I was checking out the candy and stuff like that, man. It was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just hanging out in the back of the car. Figured we could get a quick riff session.
I sent you a wedding gift, right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, good.
Yeah, man. Solid.
You got to keep up with those.
Solid wedding gift from the Aflalo company. It's from Benji Aflalo. That's right. Doing it right. As a write-off, a gift.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably write that
Because it
off.
was a very specific number.
Oh, no. You know why?
Why?
It's a Jew thing.
Is it?
Yeah, the number 18. Was there an 18 or a 36 in it?
Probably.
Yeah, it's a Jew thing. When you give someone a gift, 18 is symbolic of life. Wow. There's something in Judaism called Chai. Oh, we got to a Jew superstition.
Oh, okay.
And it's 2 letters, a chet and a yud, I think, and it means life. And then Jews are really into the letters also having numerical significance, and those are 1 and 8. Wow. So if I was really rich, I would have given you $18,000 for your wedding. And as a Jew, you would be like, thank you, life and money.
Wow.
Yeah.
Learning so much at the very end of this podcast.
Benji, thank you for coming on the show and unloading your Jewish knowledge on us.
Thank you.
I love you, dude. Thanks for doing the show.
Love you, bud.